It's another beautiful day. This is your host, Jen Rosillian, coming at you live from Hawk News, where fake news comes to die. We have a very exciting show for you. With me today are two researchers with two very different opinions on a subject that we as college students hold very dear to our hearts, social media. Let's face it, we wake up scrolling, we go to bed scrolling, our eyes are glued to our iPhones, and our attention only lasts about as long as it takes to read 140 characters. But is this excessive use of social media a form of narcissism? Specifically, my guests will be debating whether the OG of social medias, Facebook, is really about connecting with people or just getting those likes. To begin, let's hear from our first guest, Soraya Menidizadeh. Soraya, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jenna. It's great to be here.
Do you mind telling me and our audience a little about yourself?
Well, I'm an undergraduate psychology student researcher at York University. I actually just completed my study, which proves that not only is Facebook a tool that is most frequently used by individuals with narcissistic personalities, I think the whole environment of Facebook allows for people with narcissistic tendencies to feed their self-gratifying desires.
Well, I would be lying if I said I did not enjoy getting a little love on my pictures now and then. Switching gears for a second, I'm going to my second guest, Alex Lampert. Alex, I understand that you are a researcher of new media at the University of Melbourne.
That is correct. I've been studying the effects of social media for many years now, but I have to disagree with my counterpart. Although I do not deny that narcissistic tendencies can definitely influence certain behaviors on Facebook, the end goal of Facebook is not necessarily for self-gratification, but instead to increase the intensity of intimacy with others, such as being able to see who had their baby and keep in touch with the others that you love despite distances.
Seems like you both have a lot to say on this subject. So, starting with Soraya, what first made you interested in psychology?
Well, for me, I have just always been interested in people's behavior. I figured the more you get to know people, the better you can interact with them.
I think that psychology is fascinating because we are studying the very actions people do all day, every day, and questioning why we do it. Think about how many times we check our phones. Is it because of external norms? Is there some addictive nature internally that pushes us to do it? To do these mundane tasks too, over and over? Or is it a mixture of both? It's such a diverse field.
It's kind of like Facebook, right? Are we really logging on to connect with others, or are we satisfying like an internal need to fill our attention?
Well, Jenna, as you know, I believe Facebook is the perfect setting for narcissists because you can control every aspect of the way you are presented and what people see, and are guaranteed to leave the impression you want on your Facebook friends. The only way that they see who you are is through what you show them.
I must disagree. You can learn so much about a person by looking at their profile and posts. Facebook and similar social media says it all. You can find people with all kinds of common interests too, such as books, music, TV, and even looking at mutual friends can bring about a connection with someone. And social media is truly there for us to share our opinion about ourselves and what we believe and connect with like people. So it's kind of from our eyes.
Right on. So Soraya, why do you think Facebook is a good place for narcissists to do whatever it is they do? And Alex, why do you think it's a good place for making connections?
Well, you see, narcissism is the need for admiration and having a huge ego that makes you think your self-importance is worth more than other people's importance. It is filled with empty relationships and emotionally detached communication. Facebook is the perfect example for this. Friends are just shallow relationships that you have slight communication with in the forms of posts and comments on your wall and on your feed, and with the exception of maybe 10 out of hundreds of people on your friends list that actually know about you and who you are as a person.
But that information on Facebook is what forms relationships. Studies show that people are more likely to share personal information online rather than in person, so it might even be in a different sense, a more truer version of what you view as yourself. And that being said, you don't have to be best friends with everyone on your Facebook friends list to escape the label of narcissist. Many people post statuses for the public and have more private conversations in the form of chats with closer friends, or just keep in touch with people who you don't see every day.
I guess it's like you never know what will connect you with someone else. If I post something and someone else likes it too, and now I have a connection with that person I never knew I had before. But, Soraya, I'm interested. I know you conducted a study analyzing the relationships between narcissism and Facebook activity. Can you give us a little overview of your findings?
Of course, yes, we used a Pearson test to show the correlation between self-promoting Facebook content and narcissism scores from the PSYC test. There was definitely a strong positive correlation between the two. Unsurprisingly, there was a negative correlation between the Facebook content and self-esteem. So people with the low self-esteem would post more like self-gratifying posts, so they would get more likes and in turn feel better about themselves. This just further explains the effects of Facebook on our daily
Okay,
life.
wow, this is all really interesting to me, and both of you make really good points, but just for our viewers out there who might be a little confused on where they stand, can you guys illuminate me a little bit on if you guys share any common ground?
I think it's safe to say that both of us view social media users as very goal-oriented when they log on, and I do agree that narcissism can be increased through the use of Facebook, but I don't think that that is the reason why users consciously use it.
Yeah, I think Alex made some really good points, and I do agree that when people log on, they have a goal in mind for like what they're posting and what they're commenting and liking on. I just think we both have different views on that goal that they have when they log on.
I mean, I definitely think there is common ground, but with all these different ideas, we decided to take it to the streets because Hawk News is for the people and by the people of KU. So let's hear from some of the students here at KU of what they think about this topic. Okay, so my first question would be, what do you use Facebook for?
Mostly to keep up with people that I'm not very close to, but just kind of keeping tabs and seeing who gets married, who has a baby, and that kind of stuff.
I'm actually not really on Facebook that much. I basically just use it to like keep up with friends from high school, friends from back home. And
so my mom can see what's going on in my life, basically. I don't really use it for anything else. I rarely use it, actually.
Actually don't have one.
Why don't you have one?
I feel that it provides too much of an opportunity for drama to pop up, and also there's a lot of comparison between myself and my peers that I just don't need in my life.
How does it feel when you get a lot of likes on a photo or a post?
I mean, it feels good. Like, makes you happy.
It's good validation, for sure.
I mean, it's nice to know that other people are keeping up with what I do, but I don't like strive or like go out of my way to just like try and get extra likes.
Do you feel that people on Facebook can be narcissistic with their posts?
I mean, I'm sure there are some narcissists on Facebook. I don't think that's the only reason they're using Facebook.
I mean, when you think about what do you post on Facebook, it's the best things that are happening to you. It's not like you're going to post, oh, I had a crappy normal day. You're going to put, hey, this great thing happened to me that didn't happen to you.
I can definitely see that with some people, but I think it depends more on who they are.
Well, KU students, you've heard both sides. Now the issue falls into all of our hands. I think it's safe to say that Soraya is right in saying that Facebook and other social medias are tempting breeding grounds for narcissism. But I want to go as far to say that the social medias are purely there to satisfy that need for attention we all have. Based on what we've heard today from our guests, experts, and fellow students, I've come to the conclusion that we should not feel guilty about using Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram as long as it doesn't become all about the likes. I think it's perfectly normal to want attention, let people know what good things are happening to you, maybe vent about some bad things happening to you, or maybe just pop a selfie when you're feeling good about yourself. But we can never forget to take a step back and evaluate ourselves. Ask yourself, how often do I think about the number of likes I get? Am I posting this for me or those around me? Is this positively affecting my relationships? Basically, don't feel bad about logging on, but maybe be aware of how logging on affects you. That being said, thank you so much for logging on to this channel. I'd like to thank my special guests, Soraya and Alex, and tune in for next week for another segment of Hawk News.